Today I'm going to be interviewing people and asking what their opinions are for pole dancing, so let's see what happens. For my creative project, I chose to focus on the participants at Muse Pole Fitness. It's a fitness class where people can learn new pole dancing skills. The preliminary interviews that I have with random strangers in the Student Center cannot really be considered representative of the Mizzou student population. They're simply opinions of people that I chose to include, so you can sort of see what type of misconceptions people may or may not have about pole dancing.
I think it's awesome that there are people that do it for fitness and for fun. I've got two friends that do pole dancing in the bar that I work at. We host a lot of their shows and stuff, and it's really entertaining to watch, and it's also just like, oh my god, you can make your body do that? I wish I could make my body do that. So it takes a lot to be able to do it as a sport and just as something for fun, especially with how people tend to view it as like a negative thing. But I think if it's what you want to do, then you should do it, because feminism is all about choice, so have fun with it. That's all I got.
I think it's an art form, an exercise form, and that people should do it whenever they want.
Alright, well, I assume it looks pretty strenuous, so I mean, I assume you get your fitness done that way. Wouldn't try it myself. Probably couldn't last very long on a pole myself, but you know, more power to everybody else who can, and you know, I know a lot of people do unorthodox stuff to get their fitness done, so whatever it takes to keep it fun and interesting, you know, more power to you.
So, I think it can be used as an exercise. You don't have to sexualize it at all. Actually, I just read an article like last week. There was a pole dancing halftime show at a Philadelphia Frisbee game, and they were using it as fitness. It wasn't provocative at all, but my neighbor down the street also has done pole dancing before, so I really don't think there's a problem on it. It's only a problem if people are not like put a label and say it's provocative or anything on it. But if the people are using it as exercise, then there should be a problem about why they're really doing it.
I think that the subject of pole dancing is a difficult one to talk about. It exists because there are people who desire to see it, but in many ways it really degrades people because it reduces somebody to their physical appearance and completely takes away from who they are as a person. And so you have this dichotomy of personhood where you're not looking at personality, skills, interests, and what somebody is like, but instead you're just looking at physical aspects. And in many ways in our society, we're trying to push against that. But there are a lot of people who participate monetarily in this. A difficult thing is that there are people who get stuck in situations where that's the best way for them to make a livelihood, and that becomes a very difficult thing because they're trapped in it, and if they aren't able to develop other skills, which it can be difficult when you're in a situation like that, then they're stuck, and they want to end up defending themselves and their choices and things. Personally, I think it's really a horrific thing, but it's something that, in order to actually tackle, a lot of other things in society need to be fixed. You see similar problems in education and in a lot of other things like that.
I would actually love to pole dance. I would love to have that experience. I don't have anything against it. I just think it's another way or another form of dancing.
I don't know, to me it's a foreign concept. I don't think it's very publicized or portrayed in a too good of a light.
I think there are better ways to exercise, and I mean, it's not exactly something I would want my daughter doing, but I'm not gonna go tell someone else how to live their life. I'm pretty indifferent towards it.
My goal for this project was to examine how people's identities can sort of intersect whenever they do pole dancing at Mizzou. So I sort of picked off of people's sexuality, their gender, and the sociological perspective where we view that things are not inherently done for the male gaze. So, what's your name?
My name is Daniel O'Connor. I am 26. I work for the university, and I have been doing pole at Muse Pole Fitness for just about 1.5 years.
Okay, cool. So how do you feel about taking pole dancing at Muse?
well, it's a lot of fun. It's just a really entertaining experience. It's very different from kind of a standard workout. What I really enjoy about it is the community of men and women that are there who just do their best to support one another, no matter what level you are, no matter what style of pole you like to do. Everyone is there to be excited for one another, to be happy for one another, and to work out. And so, yeah.
And are the majority of your classes co-ed, or how are they arranged?
Well, every class that I'm in is co-ed, except for, I suppose, the men's class. There is one men's class a week. There's about 4, plus or minus a couple men who do pole regularly at Muse. But there's no law against women or any non-binary people who'd like to take the men's class. It's just tailored more towards male anatomy. So we do a little bit less stretching and a little bit more strength exercises. Other than that, I take about 4 co-ed classes a week, where usually I'm the only man.
Oh, okay. And what made you get involved with pole fitness?
Well, my best friends and the best friends of my wife have been doing pole for about 5 years with Jordan, who is the owner of Muse Pole Fitness. Before it even became Muse Pole Fitness, I've been working with her on a private basis. And one day, we just essentially decided to give it a try. I believe we were drunk, but we had both been feeling like we weren't getting enough exercise, essentially, and we decided to give that a try. And we've stayed.
And whenever, in comparison with people's reactions, do you notice a difference between the reactions of men versus women, or whatever you tell them?
The main difference is that women tend to have heard about these kind of things, whereas men tend to have not. Women will often go, "Oh, that sounds so exciting. My girlfriend or my friend had a bachelorette party, or so and so, or I have friends who take that. That sounds like a lot of fun." Men typically will not have heard of pole fitness. It's pretty niche. But after I explain it to them, their reaction tends to be the same thing, which is, "Wow, that sounds very cool and very difficult." I haven't run into any sort of negativity response around that, but then it's always been in a professional or a friendly setting, so it kind of doesn't really come out there.
And do you all ever feel vulnerable whenever you are dancing pole?
Oh, sure. Let's see. My wife and I did our first performance in front of an audience on a stage in November of last year, and it was terrifying and exhilarating and a lot of fun at the end, but it does feel very, it's a lot of stage fright. I don't know necessarily whether it's a little bit, it's more than you might expect from just anything else that you're getting up on stage and showing something that you're passionate about. You're wearing less clothes, and it can be worrying, but it's also showing off something that you feel that you're really good at, and so in a way it is not as vulnerable.
Okay. And how do you think that this has improved your life for the better?
Two main things are I'm fitter than I ever have been. So pole had its origins in strip clubs, essentially. It's a stripper pole. And there tends to be a misconception that it's based in, that is strictly a sexual nature, and it's about titillation, and it's about desire and all that kind of stuff. When that's a part of it. But it's a dance. And like all dancing, there's sexual dance, and there's non-sexual dance, and there's athletic dance. And the pole in modern pole fitness is just an object that you use in the dance. That's really all there is to it. People will ask, "Oh, don't you take your clothes off?" It's like, well, no, not usually. And some people actually come to the studio under sort of the misapprehension that that's what it's about. And it's certainly, it has sexual and sensual elements to it. But that's not the goal of pole dancing. It's certainly not the goal of pole fitness. The goal of pole fitness is to help you feel better about yourself, either by getting fit or giving you more confidence, or any number of things really. There is an element of in some communities, pole dancing is looked down upon because it's seen as it's seen as, oh, this is just women degrading themselves.
Yeah.
And this is a way to trick women into thinking that if they degrade themselves in this way, oh, now it's not degrading themselves anymore. And that's just, it's ludicrous. I'd say more than half of the people that I know personally who do pole aren't even straight. They're not even doing it in a way that could be possibly construed as being for a man. Now, it was initially invented, sure, a lot of these moves were initially invented and developed in strip clubs to get money from men because it's sexy. Like, that's undeniable. But there's nothing, the thing that's changed is that the women who developed the sport and the women who turned it from something that is arguably exploitative and certainly sexual in nature into something that is artistic in nature and based around exercise, based around confidence and supporting the other women who do it. It's really sort of, it's taken, the ownership is by the women at this point, and they're doing what makes them feel good and what makes them feel confident and excited. And so this backlash of anything that women do that could be perceived as sexy must therefore be done because they want to be sexy for a man, and there's no, I think that limits women in a sense that I think that it is taking away agency from people who might just want to do that because they think it's fun, or maybe because they want to feel sexy and desired, or because they want to get fit like I do. And it's that kind of thing that I think should be said as often as possible. This is not some kind of, this is not, taking off your clothes on camera, and it's not, there's nothing negative about it, and there's nothing furtive or perverted or like something you need to hide from. It's just, it is an exciting way to learn essentially a new art form, and I really enjoy that.
Alrighty, thank you. Hi, my name is Alex, and could you please introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Val, and I use they, them pronouns.
Okay.
Alright, I identify as a demi-gray asexual, which is, for the gray asexual part, I do not generally feel too much in the way of sexual attraction to people. For the demi part, it's mostly after I've gotten a good emotional connection with someone that I will be able to let myself feel sexual attraction towards them. I also identify as agender or non-binary.
Okay. Whenever you go to Muse Pole Fitness, is it odd not being feminine in a traditionally feminine place?
It is a little bit sometimes. The teachers and the classmates don't make a problem of it. Since it's supposed to be a very open and supportive nature to the place, it helps a lot in not having to feel like you have to be hypersexual or hyperfeminine to do something that has been traditionally a very sexual feminine dance. You can be yourself because you're just dancing for yourself.
How do you express your gender in these spaces during your fitness classes?
Usually I won't try to watch other people on what they're doing unless it's more of a technique kind of a thing. I just kind of be myself. I dance for myself. I don't dance for anybody else.
And also for the clothing, I've heard that a lot of them wear short shorts and sports bras. What do you typically wear?
I usually wear like some short shorts because you need the skin for different moves. I usually also wear a tank top, but I'll wear a sports bra under it. If there are any moves that need kind of like a midriff skin, I can take it off. I generally don't. I just don't feel the need to.
How does your sexuality affect how you interpret how people, quote, act sexy?
Well, because I don't always find what other people find sexy attractive, it's like, okay, you're moving, that's great. So it's, I don't know, I have to always think more of a technique point of view whenever you're being told, okay, do like something like a body roll where you kind of move your whole body. It's supposed to be hot and stuff, but I generally think it's like, okay, I'm just moving different parts to create the most fluid motion that I can. I'm not thinking, so I'm gonna stick my butt in this person's face and they're gonna like it.
Do you view pole dancing at Muse to be a form of body empowerment?
I do. Because you have to hoist yourself up onto the pole, you wind up, whether you're trying or not, to get stronger, which it's always a good feeling to know that you can lift something up. You don't have to ask somebody else to do it. You can open the can of pickles or whatever. You don't have to be like, help. So it is empowering because it makes you a bit more just able to do things on your own, more independent.
And what made you want to take pole classes at Muse?
I had been thinking about taking pole dance lessons for years, and I was like, okay, this will be a good idea, but I couldn't find a place that had a good like feel to it. Some of them, they just kind of felt a little dingy, or this place is more just, we're going to make you into just this sex object. And I was like, I don't really feel like it. And whenever I found Muse, I was like, okay, we're going to go in. It's right after my birthday, and I'm having the existential dread of turning however old. I'm like, okay, if I don't like it, it's going to be a great story for later. But if I do like it, then I found a new hobby in a place that I just moved to. So I was like, okay, let's go take a couple classes. I think I committed myself to like 4. And after the first one, I was like, I'm never leaving. This is great.
What part of the Muse pole fitness place did you enjoy most? Was it the people, or?
It's the people, and it's a lot of it is actually the atmosphere, because you get to do physical activity to music, which I always enjoy, and it's a very positive and uplifting atmosphere. If you try, someone's telling you that you did awesome. If you don't try, they're like, you know what, that's okay. That's not where you are right now. Just be yourself. You're not being forced into anything. You're not, I don't know, not being defined by someone else. It's okay, here. Do you want to do this? Go for it. We will support you the whole way.
Could you explain some scenarios where someone has misgendered you in the past?
Nobody really at the studio does, but outside of the studio, I've had a lot of that experience. Whenever I first started, I had my hair very short, like a buzz cut, and since I've grown it out, I get misgendered more as female a lot of times. But every so often, if I let my hair run free, I'll get misgendered as male, and once people hear me speak, they decide that I am then female, so I'll get misgendered twice. And then they seem to get upset that in a way that I've deceived somebody, or they're mad. I don't understand why, because I'm just sitting or standing somewhere and they're, excuse me, sir, yeah, how can I help you? They're like, oh, I'm sorry, ma'am. Ugh. It's okay, calm down, it's okay. So I don't know. It's one of those things where if you misgender someone, is one, don't do it on purpose, and 2, if you do, don't get mad, because that person then fears for their safety and they're wondering what's going through your head, and just apologize and move on. Try not to do it again.
For those who aren't sure, how would you suggest that they ask somebody what their pronouns are?
It's pretty much just, hi, what's your name? What do you go by? Pretty much just ask straight up. If that person is willing to come out with their personal pronouns to you, they will. And if they're not, then they'll tell you the one that they think you want to hear. And either way, they're going to be able to decide whether they give you that information or not, instead of you deciding, this person must be this gender, versus they will let you know.
Okay. And do you have any final remarks that you would like to include? Alrighty. Thank you for talking to us.
It is certainly one of the best things that's happened in my life in the past couple of years. And even men, come on, if I can do it, anyone can. I guarantee that you will find nothing but love and acceptance at you.
And that's a wrap.